I get it. Trust me, I really fucking do. You love being shredded. You love waking up, feeling the abs, feeling good about yourself. So when it comes to gaining muscle tissue, you want to maintain, you want to stay lean. And that's how you want to build that muscle tissue. So you remain ultra strict, right? You count those fucking calories day in, day out. You make sure you're staying at maintenance. You make sure you're holding on to those abs. But all that happens is a year passes by and you look the same. Your arms look the same. Your chest looks the same. Your back is still small. We are making no progress at all. And the reason for that is maingaining only works for those who are just getting back into training or those who are new to training. I'll be completely honest. Every single time I get shredded, I have this exact thought process. I go, do you know what? I might just maintain it. I might go into a main gain phase. I might just hold this physique. And every single time I fucking don't. I go into a gaining phase and I turn that shredded physique into a before photo. I promise you, every year since 2017, I've looked at myself shredded and I've gone, I'm satisfied with this. I'm happy with this. And then a year later, I'd spent a shit ton of time in a bulk and I'd completely embarrassed the way that I looked in the cut. And to think, right, that me back in 2017, when now I weigh almost 20 kilo more than that, wanted to maintain that physique. So I want you to fall in love with progression. I want you to fall in love with going through the phases. And we're going to talk about why it is the best option for you. It comes from this. We look at these people on social media who are shredded all year, you know. I could put some names out there, but I know that you'll have your own person you watch on social media. The abs are always fucking popping. They're always looking unbelievable. And we've got numerous reasons for this. The first reason is steroids, which I'd say 95% of the fitness industry are on. And the second reason is people like to recycle photos, right? I do it myself. I'm fucking posting photos from my competition last year. It's been about fucking a year and a half since that. So we only see, like, you know, the good old saying, we compare our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reels. Like, you can be looking at yourself fasted first thing in the morning, flat, no pump whatsoever, and you're comparing yourself to someone else in perfect lighting with a pump, probably sodium manipulated, water manipulated, all for this one photo, and you're comparing yourself to them. So you need to stop thinking that social media is real and only compare yourself to you yesterday. And when you do that, you'll realize that going into a gaining phase is what actually makes sense, because trying to stay in a main game phase is like trying to build a house without any fucking bricks. Your body needs that fuel, right? You need to provide your body with enough calories to be within that surplus so you can get stronger. Testosterone can start to fucking fly. Muscle protein synthesis can start to fly. Just essentially putting your body in a priming position to actually want to grow. You're wrong. You're not going to be absolutely fucking shredded the same way you'd be after a photo shoot or after a bodybuilding show, for instance. But you're not going to get fat. The only way that people get fat is if they start to fucking binge eat shitty foods, or if they've gone into a crazy long gaining phase. At the end of a phase like that is when you're going to start to go soft. But if you get yourself extremely fucking lean, you know, you start that phase at 10 to 12% body fat, and you stay in that gaining phase for around 24 weeks as a natural, like, I'd say low ends at around 0.3ish and then high ends at around 0.5. I know you get a lot of coaches out there who like to push around 0.5 to 0.7 kilogram per week, but I notice for most people who work a full-time job, pushing a gaining phase like that can be a little bit harder when it gets to the cut. So I prefer to keep my clients nice and lean. So if you're aiming for that 0.3 to 0.6 kilogram rate of gain per week, within a 24-week gaining phase, you are not going to come out the other side of that phase looking fat. You're going to look so much fucking better. And when you get lean again, you're going to look double the size, and you're going to look at old photos of yourself and you'll have this thought. You'll go, fuck, I didn't actually look as good as I thought I did. I promise you, I've done it every single fucking year. Every time I go, I'm adamant I look better than that at the time, but you just take it next levels. So even me, when I competed in September last year, I know full well that I'm going to look at these photos next time I get shredded. I'm going to laugh at it. I'm spending literally essentially the next 3 years in a gaining phase where I'm going into a gaining phase, tidy up, gaining phase that will tidy up, gaining phase that will tidy up, because my goal is to get a pro card in natural bodybuilding. And this is where I want to move this topic over to why, if you actually want to stay lean year round, why going into a gaining phase makes more sense. So if you've not got a lot of muscle tissue, for you to look like you've got muscle tissue, you're going to have to get extremely fucking lean. To put things into perspective, me shredded before when I was 16 years old, I think I weighed around 60 kilogram. Me at the moment, I'll put a photo of me here. So this is most recent. I'm in a gaining phase and I sit around 85 kilograms. So I'm sitting 25 kg above that. However, I now look leaner with more muscle separation than I did at 60 kilograms. So the more muscle tissue you have, you look leaner year round because that muscle is going to come to the surface. This is why I always have the argument around training abs. People say you don't need to train abs as long as you get lean. And it's like, well, that's like saying you don't need to fucking train anything as long as you get lean. If you train your abs, you're going to have thick, dense abs. So when you do get lean, they look unbelievable. But not just that, even at a high body fat percentage, you're going to be able to see your abs. So for me, I'm very fortunate with the fact that I do naturally have dense abs, but I hammer the fuck out of them. So yeah, it's not natural. I just hammer the fuck out of them, to be honest. But I would say majority of the phase, majority of my bulking phase, you can still see visible abs. It snakes me a little bit because sometimes I'll go a little bit soft, but I can still see abs and I think I'm leaner than I am. But yeah, you want to build that muscle so that year round you look bigger and you have more muscle separation. And now I want to move over to the topic of identity, because if you've spent your life a little bit insecure, you know, not too confident within yourself, and you get yourself shredded, you're now going to fucking feel this crazy level of confidence, and you're going to start to identify yourself with being the shredded guy. And you see a lot of people lose their identity after a bodybuilding show, and people go into dark places for that reason. So as great as it is to get shredded, as great as it is to get fucking lean, do not think that that is who you are, right? That is just at the surface level what people can see. You are so much more than a physique. And if you worry about yourself that much with your physique, like fucking hell, like if I'm not shredded, I'm no one. You need to look deeper inside yourself about like what your morals actually are, what sort of person are you, what sort of interests do you have. And when you start to like go, right, I'm actually proud of the person, I'm actually fucking love the person I am, you'll still want to be in shape, right? Because being in shape's great, but you won't attach your whole identity to it. And that's something that I think bodybuilding does so well to you. It gives you the most insane euphoric feeling when you look at yourself, and it takes that away from you when you reverse out of that. And you have to learn to understand that you're not just your physique, like you're a lot more than that. And that's why I always say that as much as I love bodybuilding and as much as I like essentially dedicate my life towards bodybuilding, it's like every part of my day, I don't actually give a shit about how I look. The reason I'm on this journey is because it teaches you every single lesson required for life. It teaches you that there is no fucking finish line. Like every single day you need to show up. You need to show up regardless. The rent is due every single day. It forces you to bring the best version of yourself to every area of life. It brings your best physical health. It brings your best mental health. It says you need to get a good night's sleep, right? You need to eat foods that leave you energized. You need to do hard shit every single day. You need to stay hydrated. You need to stay healthy. And you need to bring the best version of you to your loved ones. And again, that's why I just love this journey so much, and I push this journey onto everyone. And it frustrates me that people get so confused about it. They're like, oh yeah, I don't really care about getting much muscle, I don't really care about getting into shape. And I'm like, you don't even understand that like getting in shape is just like this tiny little side effect. It truly is the smallest fucking part of the journey. Let's get clear on what it is that you want, right? Because if you think of your dream physique, do you think that that person has been through some savage gaining phases to get there? Absolutely, unless like your dream physique is some strange fucking look. But if you enjoy the muscular physique, of course that person had been through some uncomfortable gaining phase. Like even at the moment, I'm not crazy chunky in the face, but I don't feel crazy confident with myself. But like I'm just so much, I'm very confident with the person I am, so I don't fucking identify myself as this guy with crazy chunky cheeks. So deep the fact that your dream physique requires you to get a little bit uncomfortable. It requires you to get a little bit bigger, but your dream physique doesn't require you to get fat. This is the massive misconception. People think that a gaining phase means you lose your discipline, you stop eating clean. Not the fucking case at all. You need to bring the same level of discipline that you had in your cut to your gaining phase. Naturally, you're going to have a wider selection of food. Naturally, you're going to feel like you've got a little bit more freedom. But you need that same level of discipline. You don't want to just start eating shit for the sake of it. You don't just want to fall off for the sake of it. Bring that same level of discipline you had in the cut to the gaining phase, and you'll find that the gaining phase is a lot more fucking easy. The only difference is your testosterone is going to be through the roof. Training standard is going to be through the roof. You're not going to feel like shit every single day, and you get excited for your sessions. Like at the moment, every time a rest day comes, I'm fucking fuming. Like tomorrow I've got a rest day and I'm absolutely fuming. And I truly do believe that the reason people think that they hate the gym is because they've never experienced the gaining phase where your hormones are flying, your strength's flying, and you watch yourself get bigger day by day, essentially. You can't beat the fucking feeling. So essentially, fuck a main gain. If your goal is to build a shit ton of muscle tissue, you need to push that surplus. Let's fucking go.